By the winter of 1941, the British night sky was a graveyard. Bomber Command was flying under the cover of absolute darkness, completely blacked out. Yet, somehow, the German night fighters and anti-aircraft batteries were finding them with impossible, terrifying precision. British intelligence finally found the source. Sitting on a sheer cliff face at Bruneval, on the coast of occupied France, was a mysterious piece of technology: the Würzburg Radar dish. They were being slaughtered by an invisible wall. Lord Mountbatten and Combined Operations knew that if they destroyed it, the Germans would just build another. To defeat the radar, British scientists needed to know exactly how it worked. They needed the internal components. So, Mountbatten authorized a mission that bordered on absolute madness. They weren't going to destroy the Würzburg radar. They were going to steal it. The men chosen for the job were C Company of the 2nd Parachute Battalion, led by Major John Frost. They were elite, hardened killers, but they didn't know the first thing about advanced electronics. Enter Flight Sergeant C.W.H. Cox. Cox was an RAF radio mechanic. He was a tech nerd. He had never fired a weapon in combat, but he was the only man who knew how to dismantle a Würzburg dish. So, they gave him a crash course in parachuting, handed him a canvas bag full of wrenches. He couldn't drop the tools. On the night of February 27, 1942, they dropped into the freezing black sky over France. It was chaos immediately. The drop was scattered, snow covered the ground, and Frost realized he only had half his men. But the clock was ticking. They had exactly 2 hours to hit the cliff, steal the tech, and get to the beach before a massive German panzer division arrived to wipe them out. Frost's men assaulted the villa guarding the radar. A brutal, close-quarters firefight erupted in the snow. Tracers lit up the night. But while the paratroopers were trading bullets with the German garrison, Flight Sergeant Cox went to work. Under heavy machine gun fire, with bullets literally sparking off the metal dish inches from his head, he needed to extract the receiver, the amplifier, and the transmitter, but the sea air had rusted the bolts shut. Finesse was out the window. Cox pulled out a crowbar and started violently prying the Nazis' most advanced technology apart by brute force, packed the heavy components onto a wooden handcart, and gave the signal. They had the loot. Frost, Cox, and the surviving paratroopers fought their way down a steep, icy ravine to the extraction beach. They hit the freezing sand, but the ocean was empty. The Royal Navy extraction boats weren't there. They were trapped. Their backs were to the sea, and the German army was closing in from the cliffs above. The paratroopers dug into the sand, preparing for a final stand. Desperate, Major Frost fired a single signal flare into the dark sky. At the absolute last second, the muffled rumble of Navy gunboats cut through the dark. They had been hiding just offshore, maintaining absolute radio silence. Under heavy covering fire, they loaded the wounded, the stolen radar, and one incredibly exhausted radio mechanic onto the boats, speeding back into the English Channel just as the German panzers arrived. Operation Biting was a flawless tactical heist. Because of the components Flight Sergeant Cox pried out of that dish, British scientists unlocked the secret to the German radar. A handful of paratroopers and one brave mechanic jumped into the dark, pulled off the greatest technological heist of the Second World War, and saved the lives of thousands of Allied airmen.